Margin, would we stand? Pastor, y'all come up to station registry.
The Pashkaya Ban Yahawah Ban Yashal.
The Pastor, Yahawah, by Yashal.
Yahbashim Yashabakatam.
Yahbashim Yashabakatam. Slack you, get that wrong. I'll give them a stand up, stand. You got to play a horn first. Come.
Pashkaya Ban Yahawah Ban Yashal.
The Pashkaya by Yahawah by Yashal.
Yahbashim Yashabakatam.
Yahbashim Yashabakatam. This is the Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. And we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Well, so be it. Prayer for the power in Hebrew. Yahawah. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Baba Kashat. Nathanael. Hakak. La'apa'ah. Ka'makalab. Ka'malawan. Hakak. Latahar. Amatazarian. Hakak. Lahakmi. Hamathiam. Hakak. Arakawaz. Atamal. Barshan. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Dawada. What's up, order? All right. The prayers for the power in the English. Yahawah. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. Power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power to get some unclean spirit. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Psalms 121 in Hebrew. Ashab, Ayanya, Al-Harya, Mahayam, Yabah, Azari, Mahayim, Yahawah, Ashab, Shamayam, Wa'aratazah, Ayatam, Amawat, Magaka, Ayanuan, Shamarka, Gana, Lahad, Yanawan, Alahad, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yashal, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazaka, Yahanna, Yahanna, Shabath, I.S.U.P.K, Yahweh, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Yahshemar, Tazaka, Waka, Ma'ata, I.S.U.P.K. This is Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes unto the hills. What's coming my help? My help coming from the Lord. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade. Upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out, thy coming in. This time forth, and even forevermore.
Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahaya. Al-Dam Yalaka. Al-Dakarash. Al-Dashakwat. Yahanna. Yahanna. Yahamma Yuwan. Ra'aj. Yaira Yamwa. Sawadah. Wayita. Ya'atazawa. Al-Tazapawanyaka. Amarwa. Lakawa. Wanakaki. Magawiya. Wala'a Yazakar. Sham Yasha'ala. Awada. Kaya. Nawa'a Tazawa. Nakadawa. Al-Yaka. Bariyah. Yakarakwa. Ahaya. Adawar. Wa Yashama. Allah Mawa'aba. Wahagari. Gabal. Amalan. Wa Amalak. Palasha. Ayin Yishabya. Tazawar. Gam Ashawar. Nalawa. Amman. Ayawa. Zarawa. Labaya Lawa. Salah. Aisha Lahar. Samanya. Nasiya Sarah. Kayabya. Anakar. Wayashwa. Dashamadwa. Ayan Da'ara. Ayawa. Daman. La'ab Daman. Shayatamwa. Ladal Yamawa. Kaira. Wakazaba. Wakazaba. Wakatazal. Manai. Kyle Nasa Sakamwa. Ashar. Amarwa. Naya Rasha. Ranawa. Nawa. Alahaya. Shayatamwa. Galgala. Kakwash. Apanya Ravaka. Kaash. Dabaira Yaira. Wakalahaba. Dalahat. Harayan. Khan. Tawadatma. Basa Irika. Wabasa. Wapaka. Dabahalam. Mala'a. Payahan. Palawan. Waya Bakwashwa. Shamka. Yahweh. Yabashwa. Waya Bahawa. Ayai. Waya Kapawa. Waya Abatwa. Waya Daiwa. Kayata. Shamka. Yahweh. Abaka. Ayuwan. Akaharataza.
The Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Keep not thy silence, O Yahweh.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O Yahweh.
O Yahweh.
For lo,
For lo,
thy enemies make a tumult.
thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
And lift up the head.
Lift up the head.
They take crafty counsel
Take the counsel.
against thy people.
Against thy people.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
They consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off.
and let us cut them off.
For being a nation.
For being a nation.
In the name of Israel.
In the name of
There
Israel.
be no more remembrance.
There be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
But they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against
They
thee.
are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
Tabernacles of Edom.
And the Israelites.
And the Israelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And Hagarenes.
Cabal.
Cabal.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
Philistines.
The inhabitants of Tyre.
The inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher is also joined with them. They are hoping the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them
Do unto them.
as unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sarah.
As to Sarah.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of
As
Kison.
the brook of Kison.
Which bears their indoor.
Prepared the indoor.
They became as dung for the earth.
Man,
Make their numbers like a rail.
They grow like a red.
And like Zee.
Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All their princes.
All the princes.
As a bar.
As a Bob.
And as a moon.
And as a moon.
Who said,
Who said,
let us take to ourselves
let us take to
the
ourselves
houses of Yahweh
the house of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
On my power.
On my power.
Make them like a wheel.
Make it like a wheel.
As a stubble before the
As
wind.
the stone before the wheel.
And the fire burning of wood.
And fire burning from wood.
And the flames setting the mountains on
And
fire.
the flames set the house on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempest.
with thy tempest.
And make them afraid
And make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy sword.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
And everybody seek thy name.
Oh Yahweh.
Oh Yahweh.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And trouble forever.
And trouble forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let them be put to
Let
shame.
them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know
That men may know
that thou,
that God,
whose name alone,
whose name alone,
is Yahweh.
is Yahweh,
The Most High.
are the Most High.
Who all the
Over all the earth.
All right. Psalm will be turned. Shabath will be seated. All right. Back that up. We're going to start with Numbers 3 and verse 17 in the Hebrew.
Book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 17 in Hebrew. Why Yah, young, Allah, bond, the waya, Basha, Batam, Gara, Shun, Gershon, Wakwa,
No, not Gershon, that's Gershon.
Barshawan, Garash, Shawan, Wakwa, Da, Wamar, Raya, verse 18, Wa'af, La, Shalmar, Wat, Ban, Garad,
No, Banya.
oh, slap, yes, Banya, Garashun,
Joshua 1.
Garshawan, Lamar, Shapa, Katam, La Bunya, what's up? La Bunyan,
That's
No,
right,
yeah.
Banya.
La Bunyan. Washam, Ma, I,
For Shemaiah.
La Shamai, Ya,
Why Shemaiah?
Washamai, Ya. Verse 19. Bun, Ya. Amar, Shabath, Katham, Amarium, Wayataza, Har, Kabad, okay, Kabad, Rawan,
Where you at, Warren?
at end of 19, last line of 19. Isaiah,
Why you talking so hard?
Wayataza, Har, verse 20. Bun,
No, after you read, you gonna stop right there. Get ahead. All right, we're gonna start. I'm gonna finish them up at 20. Verse 20. Wabaya, Marariah, La Masha Paktatham, Ma Kalaya, Wa Mawashia, Allah Hum. Masha Paktha, Ma Shapakta, oh my bad, Ma Shapaka, Ha Lawaya, it's like Ha Lawya, Nabaya, Abatham, verse 21. The God, Rashawan, Ma Shapakta, Ha Labaya, Wa Ma Shapaka, Paka, Ha Shemaya, Allah Ham, Ha Shapakta, Ha Shapaka, Ha Gara Shunya, verse 22. Pa Quad Yaham, I think you're right out there on one if I mistake. But we this way. Ba Ma Sapar, Kal Zakar, Maban, Kodash, Pa Makaya, Pa Quad Yaham, Shabai, Alapium, Wa Kamash, Ma Awa. You started from?
17.
23 is the last verse. Wow, sis.
Long.
Ma Shapaka, Ha Gar Shanya, Akaria, Ha Mashakan, Ha Mashakan, Ya Kanaya, Ya Ma. Alright. Now you read for the English.
The book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 17 in English. And these were the sons of Levi by their names: Gershon and Kohath and Miriam.
Alright, today we basically going over again like we did last week over the records of families that was in certain tribes. Right now we're going over the Levites and the sons of Aaron. Read on.
Verse 18. And these are the names of the sons of Gershon by their families: Libni and Shemaiah. Verse 19. And the sons of Kohath by their families: Aaron and Amram and Azahar, Hebron, and Ezekiel.
No,
Uziel. Verse 20. And the sons of Meribah by their families: Mahiah and Rashad. These are the families of the Levites according to the house of their fathers. Verse 21. Our Gershon was a family of the Levites, and the family of the Shemites. These are the families of Gershonites. Verse 22. Those that were numbered of them according to the number of all the males, from a month old and upwards, even those that were numbered of them were 7,500.
These are the priests. Because back then the sons of Aaron and the Levites, mainly the sons of Aaron were the priests of the Lord. I mean, the Levites. So go ahead.
Verse 23. And the family of Gershonites shall pitch behind the tabernacle westward.
All right. When it says they should pitch, that means they should put up their, put up their sign. Levites, we here over in this land. I mean, they'll put a sign on who they are, wherever they at. All right. So, we'll call up. Okay, I guess we'll continue reading. You want to do some Hebrew, y'all? All right. We're going to start with Numbers chapter 23, verse 24 in the Hebrew. Wa'nash ya'a ba'yath abba la v'rashan al-Isupk ban la'al wa'mash maraf vanya gershawan ba'al wa'ai ha mash shakan wa ahal ma kasahawa wa ma sak patha ahal ma wa ai. Verse 26. Wa kwa ayu ha katazar wa a ma sak patha ha kazar ha katazar aishar al ha mashakan wa al ha ma zabak sa bayab wa a ma yathar yuwa lakal I bad wa. Verse 27. Wa patha wa lak ka ma shapakta ha aimaramaya wa mash paka ha yatazar ha yatazaharya wa mash paka ha kabar niya wa mash pakatha wa mash paka ha Isaiah Aliyah ha Isaiah Aliyah Alaham ma shabaka ha kwa hathaya. Verse 28. Where I started from? 23, right? All right. Verse 28. Ba masapar kal zakar maban kadash wa ma'ila shah manaf alafium Rashasha ma'awaf sharmaya ma shamaraf hakwadash. Verse 29. Ma shakwa kaf baya kwa haf ya kunawa al ya rock ha mashakan ha yamana. Verse 30. Wa nasha abaya abba la mash kaf la mash pakaf ha kwahathia al yatazapan banya Isaiah Allah. So what start from
This is like verse 24.
30? Nah, that's seven verses that make 31. Last verse, verse 31. Wa mash maratham ha'aran wa hashafan wa hashafan wa hashokan wa hamanara wa hamazabaka wa kaya hakodash ashar ya shirfawa maham wa hamasak wakal I bought the war. All right. We'll start from 23,
That's 24.
24. Okay.
The book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 24. and the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites.
You said what?
Take over right quick.
Gershonites shall be Isupk, the son of Lael.
Okay. So the chief of the house of the father of the Gershonites. So that particular division of the Levites, you know, he's the chief of that house, of this particular house. You know, we deal with like you know, certain fathers of certain households and everything, where like, you know, this was like, you know how even though the Levites were always the priests, the head priest was of the sons of Levi, or sons of Aaron, right? Those are the head priests. These are different divisions along with even it being in the head priest. So it said he's going to be the chief of the house. Chief of the father of Gershonite should be Eliasaph. Can you read it?
Verse 25. In the charge of the sons of Gershon, in the tabernacle of the congregation shall be the tabernacle and the tent, the covering thereof, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So the charge of the sons is going to be in the tabernacle. It's like when it comes to tabernacle, that's why it looks kind of confusing, because when you read it, you see tabernacle, but tabernacle is like a replacement for like the word of house, tent, different, or building. That's what a tabernacle is. So what it's saying is, in the tabernacle, in the building of the congregation, shall be the tabernacle. There's going to be another building and a tent. See what I'm saying? But it is like, it's just how when it's translated, it gets kind of confusing in that way. Keep going.
Verse 26.
Oh yeah, and the covering thereof. There's going to be coverings over these things, right? Keep going.
Verse 26. And the hangings of the court, and the curtain of the door of the court, which is by the tabernacle, and by the altar round about, and the cords of it for all the service thereof.
Okay. So they're saying that it's going to have hangings, it's going to have things that tells you this is the altar, this is this, this is that. It's just describing what it is. And what is we at, 26? Alright, keep going.
Verse 27. And the courthouse was a family of the Israelites, and the family of the Israelites, and the family of the Hebrewites, and the family of the Israelites. These are the families of the Korhites. Verse 28. In the number of all the males from a month old and upwards were 8,600, keeping the charge of the sanctuary. Verse 29. The families of the sons of Kohath shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle.
So they're going to pitch their tent on the tabernacle. All these buildings that they're making, he's going to pitch on the south side of it. Keep going.
Verse 30. And the chief of the house of the father of the families of the Kohathites shall be Isupk, the son of Uzziah.
So, you know, what they doing, they just basically set in charge, like even though, like here, even in UPK, we got different departments. So this person's gonna be over this department. This son, he's in charge of this department. That's basically what they're doing.
What we at?
He just finished 30.
30. All right. Was it Hebrew again?
I believe that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
31.
31.
All right, Margie, Sam, come on, sit down, sit down, man.
Young man Hurskett, Ban Yahanna, Ban Yashala.
By
Yahanna, Ban Yashala. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Brakatha. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Brakatha.
Shabath, you see it? Hamanara, Wa Hamazabaka, Wa Kaya, Hakodash, Aishar, Yashar for what? Waham, Wa Hamasak, Wakal, Ibadathaya, Ibadathwa, verse 32. Nashya, Halawak, Halawaya, Haloya, Al Izar, Ban, Aharon, Ha-Kahan, Ha-Quadah, Shemariah, Mash-Marath, Ha-Quadash. Verse 33. Lamarariah, Ma-Sequaka, Ha-Makaliah, Wa-Mash-Paka, Ha-Mawashia, Allah Ham Mashaquaka for Raria. Verse 34. Wa Pequadiahum Ba Masapar Kal Sakar Maban Kodash Wa Ma'ala Shashan Alapium Wa Ma'athayum. Verse 35. Wa Nashia Bayat Abba La Mash Pakath Mariah Tazawar Allah Ban Abaya Hawila Ayo Yorak Ha Mashakan Ya Kanaba Tazapana. Verse 36. Wa Pakwat Roth Mash Shamara Banya Marariah Kora Shaya Ha Mashakan Waharya Kan Yuwa Wa Amad Yuwa Wa Adonai Yuwa Wakal Yewa Wakal Ibath Wa. Last verse, verse 37. Wa Imadia Ha Kazar Ha Tazar Sabayam Wa Ad Nayahum Wa Yath Yatham Wa Mayata Rayahum. All right. Who's on 21, right? All right. This is the last verse. Lots. Verse 38. Wa Ha Kanayim La Panya Ha Mashikan Kwa Dama La Panya Ahal Ma Wa'ai Ma Zarka Masha Wa Aharan Wa Ban Yuwa Wa Shur Yum Sha Ma Shamara Ha Ma Kodash La Mash Maraf Banya Yasha Allah Wa Hazar Ha Kura Ya Wa Maf. All right. We're going to start with verse 31. In the Hebrew, let me in the English. In that order. Fine. The son of Uziel. And we got to Numbers chapter 3, verse 31. And their charge shall be the ark, and the table, and the candlestick, and the altars. All right, these are Levites. They was in charge of the ark, and what else?
charge of the ark, the tablet, the table, and the candlesticks, and the altars, and the vessels of the sanctuary wherewith they minister, and the hanging, and all the service thereof.
Just like here, you got certain people as in charge of the caretaker department. They got to keep these ornaments clean, make sure they're ready for service, make sure we have the scrolls correct, right here. Don't have the oil, have everything ready for service. That was the department. Same thing we do here. All right? Read.
Verse 32, and Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites.
Eleazar is another name for Lazarus. I don't know if you've ever heard of Lazarus in the New Testament, that they got raised from the dead. That's another name for Lazarus, is Eleazar. All right, read.
And have the oversight of them that keep the charge.
Read from the top, Lord.
And Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, shall be chief over the chief of the Levites, and have the oversight of them that keep the charge of the sanctuary.
Right here, this priest, he was the main man in charge. He was a supervisor. He had to make sure everybody do their job right. You know what I mean? He'd be a so-called officer of 5,000 right now. Captain. He was over the camp. All right. Read.
Of Merari was the family of the Malites, and the family of the Mushites. These are the families of Merari, and those that were numbered of them, according to the number of all the males, from a month old and upward, were 6,000 and 2,000. And the chief of the house of the father of the family of Merari was Zerel.
And back then, your tribe was your last name. Not no white man last name. I mean, being your last name. Back then, you actually had the last name of your forefather as your last name. Not you being a Johnson or a Smith. You actually had your tribe last name. So you knew who you was. All right? Read.
The son of Abihail. These shall pitch on the side of the tabernacle northward. And under the custody of the charge of the sons of Merari shall be the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof.
Back then, we used to carry our tents or the tabernacle. It was a tent, but it was a big old tent. You know what I mean? And these people was in charge of having the boards, the pillars, everything. You know how people put a tent together. This was a big tent, so they was in charge of making sure that this big tent get put together wherever they go. All right? Go ahead.
And all the vessels thereof, and all that serveth thereto. Verse 37. And the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords. But those that encamp before the tabernacle toward the east, even before the tabernacle of the congregation eastward, shall be Moses and Aaron and his sons, keeping the charge of the sanctuary, for the charge of the children of Israel.
So they was in charge of the service. You know what I mean? Teaching. Basically right here, we gotta understand that when you have a department, whatever goes wrong, it's your fault. I mean, if the tent falls, it's their fault, not nobody else's fault. He put you in charge of it. You know what I mean? If the people is getting out of line and they start to riot, the sons of Moses and Aaron right here, they would get in trouble. I mean, they'll be in charge with this department. That means you're responsible. If anything goes wrong, you will be held accountable. All right? Just like with me. If anything goes wrong with the Saturday service, I'm held accountable. Okay? All right, read.
And the stranger that cometh not shall be put to death.
Say again.
And the stranger that cometh not shall be put to death.
All right, the stranger that cometh not should be put to death. That means if you a damn heathen and you try to come in the congregation, today we didn't kick them out, but back in our time, we'll kill them. I mean, they get these sticks right here, and people in the temple until they dead. That's what we used to do back then. Right? So that's 7. Will you read?
38, 39,
You read?
all that were numbered of the Levites, which Moses and Aaron numbered, at the commandment of the Lord, throughout their families, all the males from a month old and upward were 20 and 2,000.
Hey, yo, what I left off at? While I read the Hebrew?
You stopped at the 28, right?
No, we 30.
Oh, just like
38, so
You done.
all right, I'm gonna count.
Elijah with me. Stand. Barry, come up, state your nation.
Abaria, Banya Howda, Banya Shala.
Barry,
Yahanna.
Yabashim Yashabra Thumb.
Shabath.
All right. Shabath, you see? What was the Hebrew, Barry? Huh? Study. Who was you left off at? 39? All right. Numbers chapter 3, verse 39 in the Hebrew. Kal, Pa Kawadya, Ha Wiyom, Ashar, Pekoa, Masha, Wa Aharon, Al, Paya, Yahweh, La Mash, Pekatham, Kal, Zakar, Mabad, Kodash, Va Ma'ayla, Shan, Yom, Wa I.S.U.P.K, Allah, verse 40. Wa Ya'imar, Yahweh Al, Masha, Pequad, Kal, Zakar, Labaya, Yasha'ala, Baban, Kodash, Wa Ma'ayla, Wa Sha'ah, Af, Masapar, Shamatha, verse 41. Wa Kotah, Wa Lak, Kaf, Af, Ha Wayam, La Ayah, Yahweh, Fakaf, Kal, Bakar, Babanaya, Yasha'ala, Wa'af, Ba Hama, Ha Wayam, Tha Kaf, Kal, Bakawar, Baba Hama, Banya Yasha'ala, verse 32, means 42. Waya Kwapad, Mashah, Ka Ashar, Tazawa'a, it's like a Tazawa, Yahweh, Afawa, Af, Kal, Bakar, Baba Naiga, Yasha'ala, verse 43. While Yahya called Bakawar, Sakar, Ba Masapar, Shamawaf, Maban, Kodash, Wa Ma'ayla, La Pad Yaham, Shan Yam, Wa Aisharim, Allah, Shalash, Wa Shabayim, Wa Ma'af Yam Pa. Verse 44. While Yadabar Yahweh Al Masha La Amar. Verse 45. Oh, what am I in? When I started? 39. 39, so this is the last verse. Quad, Af, Ha, Yawam, Fakaf, Kal, Bakawar, Babanaya, Yasha, Ala, Ba'af, Ba, Hama, Ha, Yawam, Fakaf, Ba, Habatham, Wa, Hayawa, Ayah, Ha, Yawam, Ayah, Yahweh. All right? We're going to start from what started from? Start from 39.
This is Book of Numbers, chapter 3, verse 39. All that were numbered of the Levites, which Moses and Aaron numbered at the commandment of the Lord, throughout their families, all the males from a month old and upward, were 20 and 2,000. Verse 40. And the Lord said unto Moses, number all the firstborn of the males and the children of Israel from a month old and upward, and take the number of their names. Verse 41. And thou shalt take the Levites for me, I am the Lord, instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites, instead of all the firstlings among the cattle and the children of Israel. Verse 42, and Moses numbered, as the Lord commanded him, all the firstborn among the children of Israel. Verse 43, and all the first males by the number of names, from a month old and upward, of those that were numbered among the numbered of them, were 22,213. Verse 44, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take the Levites instead of all the firstborn among the children of Israel, and the cattle of the Levites instead of their cattle, and the Levites shall be mine. I am the Lord.
So the Levites gonna be the Most High, because that's who he says all. That's who the prophet is, right? That's who he's gonna say, and that's who is his. He's saying instead of all of their cattle, he wants the firstborn. This is his, right? He said that was his, or was
Yeah, it don't sense.
he was? I don't even know if he wants to keep going or not. Just read it, keep reading.
Come on. Verse 46. And for those that are to be redeemed, of the 213 of the firstborn of the children of Israel, which are more than the Levites. Verse 47. Thou shalt even take 5 shekels apiece by the pole, after the shekel of the sanctuary shalt thou take them. The shekel is 20 gerahs. Verse 48. And thou shalt give the money wherewith the odd number of them is to be redeemed unto Aaron and to his sons.
You said call.
Call a young man up. You go outside.
Hey, your Elijah. All right, young man Nursky, come on state your registry.
Car. Young man Erskine, Banya Howard, Banya Charlotte.
Young man Erskine, by Yahweh,
Banya Yashala.
Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shem, Rakatha.
Yahweh Shem Shabath.
Straight up.
Laya Charlotte.
That's good. That's good. Glad you remember.
I'm sorry, sir.
Got a Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Amanah.
Amanah.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shimka.
Shimka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakaka.
Malakaka.
Daba'ah.
Daba'ah.
Ratzaka.
Ratzaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baratza.
Baratza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Letunanau.
Letunanau.
Lakam.
Good.
Cow.
Cow.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalakwanau.
Wasalakwanau.
Kabawafanau.
Kabawafanau.
Kasalaknau.
Kasalaknau.
Kabawafanau.
Kabawafanau.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Tabi'ah now.
Tabi'ah now.
Wanna say you one.
But I say you were.
A ball.
Jamal,
Hawashai
Shabath,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rad,
Rad,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Lakah,
Lakah,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Wa'ala,
Wa'ala,
Watapara,
Watapara,
La'iwalamya.
Labalani.
Amen.
Amen. Let's pray in English. Our Father, which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done.
In earth.
As
As it is in heaven.
it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day
Our daily bread.
our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
Forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our
As
debtors.
we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not.
Lead us not
into temptation.
temptation.
But deliver us.
Deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry, you got to do the whole prayers. Sorry.
Sorry.
This is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We the I.S.U.P.K start